Thanks for tuning into another episode of She Laughs, a podcast dedicated to bringing you honest and transparent viewpoints in this daily faith journey. Now join with me as we listen to T and Kristal discuss the latest.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Kristal.
Hey everybody, it's Tanisha.
Welcome to another episode of She Laughs. As always, we're just going to go ahead and delve right in. So Tanisha, what are we discussing today?
Today we are talking about self-care. It's going to be a fairly light episode. And I know I guess self-care is kind of becoming the new topic lately. Mm-hmm. You hear a lot of people talking about it, taking a mental health day, stuff like that from work, which is good to do.
It's needed, guys.
Even if you are just taking that time off to really take a nap or sleep in or anything like that. So self-care doesn't always have to mean, you go get your nails done, you go get your hair done, you go get a massage and all that stuff to the spa. It can literally just mean a day of you chilling on the couch and watching Netflix.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Yeah, that's a day of self-care. So I guess the stance of this topic, I know we entitled this topic, Is It Vanity? Because there are a lot of very religious-minded people who feel that any time you take on yourself is you being vain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really understand where they get that concept from.
I think it's more of a martyr complex, in a sense. That to think of myself in any type of context or manner to make me feel good for my own benefit is selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I have to always project it out onto others. Like I have to do things for others in order to, I guess, be deemed worthy and not looked at as a selfish, vain person, which I don't really get. Because to me, in order to really give to people, like I'm a huge giver. Mm-hmm. But I'm at my most giving when I'm okay.
Well, people don't think of it like that. Like we talked about last time, you are constantly giving to you deplete yourself. And for people to have the mindset of, well, if I'm constantly giving to others and that makes me good, then that means your biblical faith is based off of deeds.
Yes.
And the Bible even says, actually in the book of James, it says there needs to be balance between deeds and faith. It can't just be one or the other.
Yes.
You have to learn how to balance the two. So yes, your deeds are important, but also just having faith. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing you could do to earn the salvation that's freely given you. So to feel that I have to always do more for others than myself, I would ask that person, what is your motive here for doing that? Mm-hmm. And if your motive is to be seen or liked, even if it's by God, there's a problem. Mm-hmm. Because he loves you regardless. So then you are doing this out of a sense of not really obligation, but honestly, you're doing it out of sense of insecurity.
Yeah.
You really don't love yourself. You need validation from others.
To say you're doing it
to
right.
To say you're a good person, you're a kind person. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much the Bible talks about caring for yourself. Talks about it a lot.
Yes.
Not just outward, but inward. It talks about learning self-control to the point of not overeating. It talks about actually exercise. It talks about grooming yourself. I mean, if you think of all of the 600 plus laws that were in the Old Testament, a third of those were about cleanliness.
You know what? I hadn't even really thought about that, but you're
Yes.
right.
A third of those, because it's like 613 laws that we were supposed to adhere to. And
Lord, I
yes,
thank you for
a
coming.
third of those were
I
about
thank you for coming.
cleanliness.
Because I don't think I would have been able to.
That's too many laws.
And everything is, you just broke them down into 10. It's like, that's too much. I'm sorry.
I mean, to what you could do with the dead.
Yes.
How you couldn't touch them, even women when you're on your menstrual. It was a lot. So
As to how you are supposed to take care, self-care, and just take care and interact with others during the periods of not being, I guess, practicing self-care. But
yeah.
My personal stance on it, I love self-care. Whether it's something as simple as a day off, just to renew my mind and say, okay, mental health break. A lot of people right now, the new thing is everybody's checking on their mental health, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
Because it hasn't been talked about enough. A lot of times, often before this space and time now where it's becoming such an issue of concern, I think is because, especially here in America, we have conditioned ourselves that we work, and we don't know how to shut things off. That's how you come up with terms like workaholic, and things like that. It becomes almost a drug of success. And so you have to taper back down on that and to understand that there needs to be a work-life balance.
Yes.
And so as a Christian, I feel like it's important. First of all, he gave us a day of rest for a reason. That's the first thing.
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't just to worship him. It's also so you can get renewed and he can fill you back up for the next 6 days. So that you can go about his business. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Now how you choose to rest in that, I'd say if it's something that is making you feel good, my nails, I remember, when I first moved down here from Virginia, I didn't really have a lot of money, but one of the things I wanted to do was get my nails done. To other people that might seem frivolous, for me, it was something for me to look forward to reward Kristal, to say, hey, you've been doing all of this work. This is your reward. Period.
But to those who think it's frivolous, I really want them to get down to the root of why they think it's frivolous. Because I know they always want to bring up this scripture, and I always throw it back at them. The Bible talks about being a good steward over things. They always want to use that when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. What about you being a good steward over yourself?
Ooh, your body, your temple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, valuing it. Because there's some people who I'm just not comfortable spending money on myself. That has a lot to do with your self-image.
Yes.
Not because, I like to make sure I save and I'm not overspending. No, that's the excuse that they use. The problem is self-image. You don't think you're worth spending X amount of dollars every 2-3 weeks.
But you're really, quite frankly, it's not that expensive, guys. It's not like you're spending $500.
That's what I said.
Nails.
It's not the money, but that's what they will say.
Yes.
You don't feel valued. You don't know your value. Because there are some that I know people who will go and get their nails done, but they go to the cheapest place to get them done. And it's like, why? Well, I'm not trying to spend that much money. Aren't you worth spending a lot of money on?
Yes.
That it goes down to, do you value yourself?
And putting something back into you. Now, I'm not saying you have to go spend $600 or $700 to get your hair done.
No.
And I'm not saying spend $300 every month on hair, makeup, and your nails. That's not what we're saying. But I don't see anything wrong with going to get a $20 pedicure. First of all, keep your toes in your hands, ladies, men. Okay,
I'm about to
your
say,
feet
what about men?
and everything. Groom, just groom. That's the only way to say it. Groom. Take care of this body that you have been given, and there's multiple ways to do that. And there's people that have gone to school to make sure that those things are done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with paying for it. I look at my nail tech the same way I do my therapist. She knows what she's doing. She knows what's going on with my feet. I'm not going to know what's going on with my feet. I just know they need to be done.
Yeah.
So let me go to someone who has studied to get that done and take care so that way my feet can maintain healthy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. It's that simple. But people read more into it. And the vanity part comes in when, even though we're saying right now you don't have to spend a lot, if you have it to spend, why not?
That I don't understand.
And then that's when
get
people
upset.
say, well, I just don't understand why you would be spending that much money on yourself.
Because I can.
Because I love me. And in order for me to show love to others, as I'm supposed to do as a Christian, I got to make sure I've shown myself love. First and foremost.
And I think other people are like, well, you could have, it kills me with this. You could have gave that money. They're sick. They're shut in. They could have used it. And I'm like, who said I wasn't helping them?
Exactly.
So I got to give them all my coins. I got to put the whole weight of the world on me.
And then why? I mean, what? Again, there's nothing wrong with doing that. What is your motive? Is it to live your faith by deeds? Is it to live your faith by the validation and the things that others will say? You got to really ask yourself why. For real. Not just, well, I just don't want to spend the money. No. No. There's a reason why you only buy yourself the cheap stuff.
Yes.
But you buy everybody else something more.
The most expensive, if not the most expensive, but you spend more money on everyone else.
You
than
spend
you do
more money on everybody else than you
yourself.
spend on yourself. Yes.
And I've never seen the reasoning in that. It's like you say, it makes me question how much you value your own self. And I'll be honest, for a while, I grew up in that thought process, and it took me a long time before I started getting my nails done. Like, that was a big deal to me because that was something that was a luxury item. Or taking the time out to go get my hair done. Like, that was a luxury item. Instead of really making myself a priority in my finances to say, okay, everything else is done, but what is Kristal doing to maintain Kristal? And now that has gotten, quite frankly, something that I no longer feel guilty about. That's one. The next thing for me is, and we've talked about this, is going in and seeking therapy. Not because necessarily there might be anything wrong, but because there's an outlet that I need to maintain my mental health as well.
Yes.
That's a top priority. And that is going to help me in the long run with whoever I get married, whatever children I have. I want them to know that, hey, my wife, my mom is good. She's making sure that her care is good. So anything that I need from her, I'm not depleting her.
Yeah. And that's your way of making sure that you're not depleted.
Right. Like, I'm my responsibility at the end of the day. Quite frankly, I mean, I get what people say, but at the end of the day, while my husband is responsible for me, I'm not his responsibility. Like, he can't take care of my mental health.
No.
He can check in on it. He can pray about it.
Yeah.
But that'll be my own job. And I can't say or look for him to say, well, babe, you need to go no, let me tell him what I want. You know, I want to go do this for my own self to make sure that I feel good about me.
Yes.
Instead of depending on you to make me feel good. I think that's also a big thing that's going on a lot of time with women. And I think it's good for you to learn how to really take care of yourself in those regards and do what is needed to maintain your self-care, especially as single ladies before you get into marriage. Because there's another little thing going around where we just feel like as a wife, it's not supposed to be about us at all.
Yeah, as a wife, and then when you add children, then you say as a wife and a mother, everything is about everyone else, which I get in majority of the time it's true, but you can always make time for you. Because here's the thing, if you don't, not only are you pushing yourself to the side, you're pushing that quality time with God to the side. Mm-hmm. So I guarantee you're not spending a lot of time with him if you're not even trying to spend time with yourself.
No, you're just doing task-based
things.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, it can't be like that. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself.
No. And like I said, guys, now some ladies, like getting your nails done or your hair done may really not be your thing.
And that's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. It might be something as simple as saying, I'm taking myself to the park to read. And that is it.
Or buying yourself a book.
Yes. Anything
or any
small.
kind of arts and crafty thing you may like to do, or taking yourself to the movies, or taking yourself to lunch. And I don't mean driving by
a drive-through
Mickey D's to get you something to
go
eat.
somewhere,
I mean
down.
Literally going to a restaurant and treating yourself to breakfast, lunch, and or dinner.
Yep. All of that is forms of self-care.
Yes.
So I say find something that you enjoy to do, and make it a habit. It may not be every week. It may be once a month.
Whatever your pocket can afford,
yes.
You need to do something. And just because you may not be able to afford it, please don't use that as an excuse of why you are taking yourself to McDonald's.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you really can't afford it, that's one thing. But if you could do more for yourself, then why not?
Do more.
Because you deserve it.
Do more. Because one of the things is you can't take these finances with you when you die. When you pass away, it's not going anywhere. So I get being a good steward, and then I get being like really frugal to the point where I want to call you Ebenezer.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Penny pinching everywhere.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
So.
But most of them won't spend on themselves. It's not really because they're frugal. They will say that. Again, that is a lie. There is a deeper reason. So they will say, oh, I really like to save, or I really don't like to try to say no. I am telling you, there is a deeper reason as to why they're doing that. It has everything to do with their self-value. You should see you how God sees you. And he thinks you're worth more than $1 million.
Yep.
So if he thinks you're worth that, why don't you think you're worth that?
Especially if he's providing the means for you to do it.
Look, the Bible, again, there are many scriptures of the many blessings and overflow that he wants to give you. If he wants to lavish on you, why can't you lavish on yourself? Especially, I would say that to those that love to throw scripture as to why you shouldn't go get hair, nails done, and everything else. Because they're quick to do that.
So
I just think that you are making everything about material things, and you really shouldn't do that. And what about the material things God says he wants to give me?
Like a house and a home.
Because he does want to give me those things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that's the only reason I should have a relationship with him.
No.
But these are things that he genuinely wants to give me. So I don't understand where your logic is coming in, talking about I shouldn't be concerned with that. I'm not.
He gave it to me. And since he gave it to me, I'm going to enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the many blessings that he gives me.
No, Nothing at all.
And I think when we start judging other people for that, that's when you delve into becoming jealous.
Absolutely. That's what there's always
Because
a deeper issue.
why are you enjoying that and I'm over here not?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like he's doing more for you but not me? Who said that he didn't want to do the same or even more for you than he's giving for me? But because I choose to rejoice in what he's given to me, now
he sees that you have a problem receiving what he's trying to give you.
That's a big thing.
That's the thing. You don't know how to receive well.
So why would he give you something?
But he's still trying to give you way more than what you're trying to have. But you have a problem receiving.
And you tell him each time he tries to give you something, no, I'm all right. I'm good with just this. It's just me and the Lord over here.
Holding hands.
Don't need nothing else. And he's like, okay, I got it. I love it's just me and you. Because it's just me and you, I want to give you X, Y, and Z. And he's like, no. Keep it over there. And he's like, okay.
He is your father. And as your child, he wants to give you things just because. Those of you that are parents understand that concept. So you want to give your children things just because. So why can't he want to do the same?
Because we're quick to say, because that's my child.
Yes.
And that'd be the whole answer. Because you're mine. That's it. No other reason.
I don't need no other explanation.
And he's like, so you don't think I want to do the same thing with you? Because you're mine. That's it. No other reason. Not because you did such and such 3 days ago for that gentleman over there who you felt like needed more than you. No, because you're mine. That's it. Period.
But again, we think it's deeds, and it's not.
So
you cannot earn a spot in heaven. So please stop trying to lowly yourself to get there.
Stop judging others for really just rejoicing and being okay and accepting and receptive to the gifts that he gives them. Just stop.
Yes, please.
It's not vain. So
it is not vanity.
That is so silly to me. It literally cracks me up every time I hear it. But I'd be like, oh, okay, Lord, I'm going to pray over that person because it's clear you're still working on them.
I mean, it really does really say a lot about who they think they are and what they think their worth is. Even to how much money you make for a living. People will accept pennies.
Crumbs.
For the knowledge that they have, the expertise that they have. I'll just take this little job here. Instead of saying, nope, I know my worth, I know my value, I know what I can bring to the table to any company. I'm going for the big guns.
Yes.
No, because now you're only focused on money. No, I'm not. I know my worth.
I know my gifting.
I know what I can do because I know the God in me and how it operates. And it has unlimited value.
Yes.
So again, do you know your self-worth? Can you put a dollar amount on it? Or are you comfortable with that dollar amount? Because trying to make yourself lowly doesn't do anything.
No, but
it does not impress God.
In fact, it's a tactic of the enemy.
Yes.
To keep you in that space. To keep you in that mindset of, I'm not worthy. When Christ is like, but I paid it all for you to tell you that you're worthy. So for you to contradict what I say about you is an outright sin. So there you have that.
Yeah. You can't contradict the grace that you said you accepted when you accepted Christ. So did you accept that grace that was freely given, or do you not? Because you trying to earn it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I already gave it to you. I died for the sins that you haven't committed yet. So I don't understand where you're getting your misinformation from. Because it's not how that works.
So, guys, I would say, really, if you're questioning this, I would say spend time in prayer. There was some things God brought to my mind when I was really dealing with trying to figure out what my value was, quite frankly, and my worth was, and him just sending constant reminders and saying, no, go do this, go do that. Like, actually enjoy your time and spend money on yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel bad about that. That's a tactic of the enemy to make you feel bad about making sure that your own self-care is taken care of. And how much he just loves me is constantly being reminded, and he wants to pour in me, and he wants to give to me, and to be receptive of that is not vanity. It's nothing wrong with it. It's literally like a child just being loved on by their parent, and that's what he wants for me. And it might be where it's just a day where I'm just sitting out on my back patio reading and just enjoying just being there and present and not worrying and focusing on everything that we get bogged down with in the day to day. He's like, just take this time to just be. And I feel like all of us need that, whether it's spending money or not, at least once a week. That's my thing. I try to do that at least once a week. Now, if it's your first time, I get it. That might seem like it's too much or jumping into the deep end of the pool.
But I would ask you why you think it's too much.
There you go.
Why? If you just other things that you would rather do, I get it. But you really need to ask yourself, why are you denying yourself the ability to do it? And then I would definitely encourage you to write a self-care list. The things that you would want to do with yourself, whether they require money or not. Write it down. And if it requires money, write down how much money it requires to do that thing. Because I have a list of my self-care things that I like to do and how much it will cost me to be able to do it on a monthly basis. And this is what I told God. I want to be able to do this every month. I require and desire the income to be able to do these things. And I know that he will do it. Because it really wasn't even my idea to write it down. I'm not going to lie. He's like, write it down. What do you want to be able to do? And how much do you want to be able to spend on yourself?
And guys, for those of y'all that are out there that are like, well, I desire to do these things, but you're worried about what other people will say, let it go. Because I'm telling y'all right now, after the process that I have been through, I have already told the Lord, whenever you decide to reward me, I am going to enjoy like nobody's business. Because I know, first of all, I went through a process for this, and he wants me to enjoy the blessing on the other side of it. So I don't care who's looking. I don't care who's watching. I don't care what you got to say about it. Because clearly you either still going through a process or you ain't never went through a process and you're over there sitting judgmental. I don't care. What I know is I'm going to rejoice in what my Father has given me because he desired it to be so.
Yep.
So, see, what else you got?
That's it, really. Ask yourself and try to get down to the bottom of why you don't want to indulge in any type of self-care and why you judge others for the amount of self-care they're doing. And if it's a self-worth issue, I really would suggest you start working on it.
Hashtag get out of other folks' wallets. How about that? How about that?
It's not even the wallet. They say they're judging you because of what they're spending. It's all about how you're viewing yourself, boo.
Yes.
It's really how you are viewing yourself and what you think you are worth.
Why are you worried about what's in my pocket? Why is it that what I'm spending makes you upset and uncomfortable? Like you pay my bills.
Especially if I'm not coming to you to borrow.
I promise you.
No money.
Did I come to you? Do you know what any bills go on in my house? Okay. All right. Stop tallying. Mind your own. I'm sorry. All right.
That came from a place somewhere.
Jesus, forgive me. T, where can they find you?
We have Facebook, Tanisha Williams, and Instagram is Styles by Tanisha J.
And as always, guys, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Charmaine Kearse. Of course, check out the blog site. New blog post coming soon at www.charmainesconfessions.com. And make sure you tune into our IG at She Laughs Podcast or follow the Facebook page She Laughs. And if you are wanting to donate to this ministry, you can always do so at paypal.me/She Laughs Podcast. Ooh, your girl got it right this time. Hey! Well, until next time, guys, be blessed. We love you. And we'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Thanks again for listening. As always, we hope that you were blessed by today's discussion. To keep up with the latest on the She Laughs podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Spreaker. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at She Laughs Podcast. If you would like to donate to this ministry, please feel free to send all donations to paypal.me/She Laughs. And don't forget to send us your questions. As always, we love to hear from you. Until next time, stay blessed.